Hello everybody, it is Nicole from iiKiui. I hope you are all staying safe and healthy. Today I am back with another Speedpaint. This time I'm tackling the Draw This Again challenge. Today we will be redrawing something I drew back in 2008 when I first started high school. So let's not waste any time and hop right into the Speedpaint. In the original drawing, there's a girl with bat wings sitting on a stool. Back in high school, I was very into this style of clothing. I personally did not wear them, but I really liked it, and most of the characters I drew dressed like this or wore something of a similar fashion. In my redesign, I decided to exclude the stool because she has wings so she can fly. Plus, the stool was kind of awkward, but I think I put it there so it didn't look like she was just floating. The original character looked young, so I decided to try and make this character look more like a teenager rather than a young adult. She also appeared more timid, so this played a part in deciding the pose. I gave her a more reserved and almost concerned pose to reflect her personality and expression. I gave her downturned eyes and concerned eyebrows to match. In the original, there were no eyebrows, and thinking back, I don't think I added them on any of my drawings back then. Her ears seemed like downturned elf ears, and I really liked piercings back then, so I made sure to add them. This time, I toned it down a bit and only added 2 piercings per ear. Her hair stayed pretty much the same. I noticed that I don't usually draw middle partings or pigtails, so this was a little challenging at first. I focused on getting the shape and placement first, then refined it by simplifying it and including some lines. Her outfit was interesting, to say the least. I'm not sure if I was going for a witchy vibe, but it kind of reminds me of Halloween. I felt like the outfit was a little bit too cluttered, so when redesigning the outfit, I excluded a few things like the extra armbands and the striped arm sleeves and her choker. The bottom half stayed pretty much the same. I try to stay as true to the old drawing as possible. I do remember that I drew boots like this all the time. I really liked boots back then, but that still stays true to this day. Boots probably make up the majority of my shoes. One thing I want to mention is when I sketch, I do a really rough sketch to get the proportions and pose. Then I clean it up with a very refined sketch. I spend a lot of time on this part because afterwards I transfer it onto another piece of paper depending on the medium I'll be using. I usually use a light box, but when I was in California, I forgot to bring it, so I used a makeshift light table which involved a flashlight and a glass table. Although the original didn't have color, I added it into this one to complete the piece. I decided on a magenta pink and black because I actually don't use this shade of pink much. Normally, I prefer a more red pink color, but I wanted to give these markers I rarely use a chance. Before deciding on the colors, I did a color composition sample on my iPad to pick out where each shade of pink will go, and if they would clash or not. This just helped me figure out how to balance the colors in the drawing. I used to wing the coloring in older videos, but now I've learned the benefit of planning ahead because, especially in traditional pieces, it's hard to backtrack once you've committed to a color or mistake. In order to balance the entire image, I made her dress a dark gray. I strayed from absolute black because then I would be unable to add shading and you wouldn't be able to see the line art. Since the majority of her outfit is the dress, I made her accessories pink and her boots gray. I used the Arteza Everblend markers, and the thing about these markers is that they're not a brush tip, making them a little more difficult to blend. I did do a video on how to blend with alcohol markers where I showed my process of blending, and in that video I used a chisel tip marker as well. It's definitely not impossible, but it took a lot of work, and when I was blending the hair, I actually soaked the page so much that it stuck to the table. When I was about to outline, I remembered that I had this pink fine liner by Micron, and I thought that it would work perfectly. When I colored digitally, I used colored lines, so this kind of imitates it. If I had more colors, I probably would have used it all over the drawing, but I only had pink and black. I like the effect it gave when I outlined the eyes under the hair in pink. I definitely didn't want to exclude it because most of her left eye was under her hair, so the pink pen was able to make it look like it was underneath her hair. And of course, one of the last things I do in all of my drawings is use my white gel pen to add highlights or light spots. All the materials I use will be listed in the description as per usual. Comparing the drawing from 12 years ago to how I draw now, I can definitely see improvement. It's always hard for me to see improvement because in the past, when doing the Draw It Again challenge, I'd take something that I did not so long ago. I think it's important to remember not to compare your journey with someone else's. I've seen people do what I've done in a shorter span of time, and sometimes I do get discouraged. I think, why am I not improving as fast, or am I doing something wrong? And oftentimes that's not the case. People go at their own pace and learn differently from one another. One person's journey should not be compared to someone else's or your own. I often have to remind myself of this, and I hope this motivates you to continue drawing. Even if you don't see improvement on a day-to-day basis, just remember that in the long run, if you keep putting in effort, you will get better. I hope you enjoyed seeing me recreate a drawing I did back in freshman year of high school and seeing the entire process. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, please consider subscribing and ringing the bell so you know when a new video will come out. And if you want to see more videos like this, leave this video a thumbs up and a comment down below telling me what other challenges or videos you want me to do. So with that, I want to thank you guys so much for joining me today. Keep drawing, keep creating, stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!